Okay, so tonight we're going to be talking about labels. Thank you, Mariana. So this is something that we used to do a lot more of, and we really just haven't done it lately, but I love bringing it back and just kind of getting into the basics of labels. I actually made a Canva presentation for tonight of some labels that we can review so we can look at what,
Wow.
get a better visual of what we're looking for. And then I brought a bag of something to look at. I know Mariana's got something, Lily's driving. So, and I don't know, Sue, if you have something you're going to bring out,
Oh, look.
you think about it while we're on. And so,
Yeah.
and we'll talk about the basics, like why we're looking at the labels, what we're looking for on the labels, and then we'll go through some of the labels and determine how they fit in, where they're at. There's choices that work better for your plan, and there's choices that maybe are just what Alana would call treats or silly or whatever, right? It's it it's still something you can eat. It just depends on how dialed in you want to be, right? Having some of these other things it's not necessarily bad, but it may not be what you want to get you where you're going. So you just kind of have to think about in terms, I don't like it's there's this hard line of like not saying foods are good or bad, yet there are definitely more nutritious options and less nutritious options your body may enjoy more, options your body may not enjoy. So it's like trying to find that line and verbiage of expressing it without attaching too much emotion and too much power to food. Because really, it's it's just food, right? The end of the world is not coming because of the chocolate chip cookie. It's just not. So once you kind of take away that power of the food, then you can decide, okay, how do I feel? How does this make me feel? Is this what I really want? Is this how I want to feel? Is this what's happening? Is this helping? And kind of go from there. So let's talk about, okay, why we look at labels. So let's go. Hopefully it's still up here. I have a fun one to start with.
I'm excited for the Canva presentation.
Right?
Like, this is amazing, Deanna. You've gone above and beyond on this. Like, truly.
No kidding. Look at
Can you everybody
this.
read this?
Yes.
Yes, I
Okay.
feel so lucky.
So this is a fun
Well
one because I think this is where the typical shopper gets a little hung up, right? Because we hear lots of buzzwords. We're like, okay, I need to have more grains. I need to have whole grains, right? I need to have less sugar. I need to have maybe less fat. Whatever terms you think are equaling the healthy lifestyle you're working toward, right? And the food marketing departments do an amazing job of these buzzwords. Natural, no sugar, low sugar, no fat, low fat, whatever the term is, right? There's always something. So this one is interesting. I'm going to zoom into this label. Can I bring it down here a little bit? Okay. So this says, oh, I should put it in presentation mode. See, this is my first time with this whole Canva thing.
No, this is great, Deanna. You're doing fantastic.
So, okay, stop move. I don't want that. There we go. So, good source of calcium. Okay. Maybe. I don't know. We're not really worried about calcium, but this is one of their buzzwords to say how great Lucky Charms is, right? 19 grams of whole grains per serving. That's not even something I look at, like the amount of grams of the whole grain. I kind of like to look at what are the ingredients and what's the ratio of fiber to carbohydrates. Okay, so that's interesting, right? It's a way for them to make it seem really exciting. And then 12 vitamins and minerals. I mean, who doesn't want vitamins and minerals, right? So Lucky Charms is like they're killing it in their front of the box. So, and that's the thing, right? When we pick up something, how often do we actually turn it over? You're just looking at the fronts. They don't put the label side to you in the store. You're looking at the fronts of the box. So you're taking all this information in, you're wondering, is this really kind of what I'm looking for? Is this going to help me reach my goals? How is this looking? So that's when we have to turn the product to the nutrition label side, okay? Because this is where that information that they're trying to talk to you about, this is where it really comes out and tells the truth and matters. Now, truth, we can talk about the what's the, you know, the plus or minus percentage. They have to be accurate on their calories and information, but we don't need to talk about that right now. We're going to take it for its word. So in this product, like I mentioned before, I'm looking at, this is clearly a carb, right? This is a cereal, is going to be made with grains. So this is going to be a macro of carbohydrates. And that's should be the most of this product. It should be the most by volume of what's in this product. There's also going to be some fat. There's going to be some protein. Those are bonuses, right? We're really looking at the carbs on this one because that's the macro it fits in. So it's got 30 grams of carbs. You can see right down here on the label, 2 grams of fiber. So now if we're following Alana, and well, quite honestly, this wouldn't even be on Portion Fix. So it doesn't matter. We're not really following Portion Fix here. 2B Mindset, she wants you to have 1 gram of fiber for every 10 grams of carbs. So in order for this product to be considered fiber filled, which also means it likely is whole grains, right? And that they're using the fiber from the whole grains, it would need to be 3 grams at a minimum to that 30 grams. And so we can see over on the ingredients, this is where it gets really fun too, because the fiber is not awful. It's just okay. It's not enough that it should be part of our plan necessarily. If you're following 2B Mindset diligently, it's not a fiber filled carb. Now it does start out with whole grain oats. Okay, yay. So it's not water. It's not sugar. It's not something other than what it said it was. So that's exciting because there's a lot of products out there. Like if you see tortillas that have a lot of fiber, a lot of times their first ingredient is water and it's not a whole grain. Now the second ingredient is sugar. So one of the fun things on products like this that have a lot of sugar, this has 12 added grams of sugar. Let's count how many times we see a different name for sugar. So we've got sugar, we've got corn syrup, we've got dextrose, and then I think, yep, that's it. So we've got 3 different sugars. So now if those sugars had all been added up to 1 volume or 1, you know, like, because everything in the ingredients list is listed by the volume it is within the product. So it has the most percentage of whole grain oats. Then it has the most of sugar, then whole grain corn, then cornstarch, then corn syrup, right? So, but if you're adding up all those sugars, it's probably the most in this product. Hey, Sandra. And so as you're kind of looking through here, you want to look, okay, is this the product I think it is, right? Like, I don't know. Do you want red 40? Do you want blue number 1? These are all dyes to make it colorful. You know, modified cornstarch and cornstarch are in there. So cornstarch is listed twice. It's fascinating, right? And then it also says it's an added preservative for freshness. They're in there.
Nobody wants stale marshmallows, Dana.
Nobody wants them. But you also have to look at these ingredients and be like, okay, is that something my body's like gonna dig? Or is that something my body's gonna be like, what are you trying to get me? Okay. So while the front of the box makes it seem, I mean, look at how happy he is. And the marshmallows, and he's got 19 grams of whole grains, which honestly, even in the years of nutrition coaching, I really have no idea like how that equates to anything for us. You know what I mean? It's just not part of something we look at, but it seems like it's good, right? It seems like it's got vitamins and minerals. And so this is where you have to really dive into things and say, how is this product? So if you're in the cereal aisle and you really just want some cereal, you know, take a couple boxes, see what are your best options. Fixate has a recipe to make cereal if you're following Fixate. So there's lots of options out there. And this was just an example really of how marketing, because I don't necessarily want you eating Lucky Charms all the time. One-off's great. I had a handful the other day. My child has some. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It was funny too, because I had some and I was like, huh, I think these are getting more flavorless. It's funny how your tastes change as you try things later that you haven't had in a while. Okay, so let's move on from this one. We're going to go to a product you're probably familiar with. If you've been with any of these programs for a while, you've probably had some chickpea pasta.
If you crush my dreams on this pasta, Deanna, I've got to go because I am obsessed. I don't eat a lot of pasta.
I'm not going to crush your dreams.
Okay, good. Because I was going to have to just close my laptop and like go sit in the corner.
You're like, we can't talk anymore.
I'm like, I don't even know if I can be friends. Like, this is serious for me, Deanna.
I know.
Pasta.
And here's why I have all 3 pictures up. I really wanted to point out that they are also doing their own marketing, right? Like that's part of the game. They're telling you on the back of the box. Here's what's funny. I couldn't even get an ingredient list or this nutrition facts when I went on to Target to find this label. Like they didn't even put those things. Most places will put all of the box. Well, like they didn't even list it. And I'm like, you're a decent product. Like, why aren't you listing what's
and it cooks like an actual pasta, which as an Italian, I'm impressed. My ancestors might be dismayed, but it's fine. We won't tell them. But yeah.
There's some good options. But what I found was kind of funny, right? Even on the back, they're marketing to like the fact that they talk about this 25% fewer net carbs. Okay, so that's going towards some keto people or people that think that carbs are bad. Right. And so I just found it interesting how, like, even if you're a product that has some solid base to it, right, some real ingredients, it just still, it's all about the marketing on the front and on the back, frankly. So you really got to look at the nutrition label. So let's look at this one quick. This one is a great option for getting in some extra protein. It is still considered a carb on all plans. I don't think I think it's still a carb on vegetarian too. And if I'm wrong on that, somebody pipe in or we'll talk about it in the group. I'll have to look it up.
I think you're right, because I think it's considered a carb. I saw this in one of the Portion Fix groups on Facebook, that it's considered a carb because it's not in its purest form as a protein.
Which is also why on Gut Protocol, it is not considered a protein, even though it has enough protein to be a protein, right? According to, like, if you were to eat a can of chickpeas, that's a protein on Gut Protocol. This has been processed further, so it is considered a carb.
But if you have it as a carb, you still want to maintain the half a cup serving, right? Like this doesn't warrant people to eat the box.
Exactly. Yes. So you are still, and so that's the other part about this that can get a little bit, we're looking for, like, we're going to look at the serving size of 2 ounces. That's not equal to a yellow in Fixate. So you would just measure it out, cook it and measure it out. You could measure it out, the dry, with a little smaller, depending on how big the pasta gets. I find it's just a little bit under a yellow, and then it cooks into a yellow. Whereas like oatmeal is like a quarter, it's like a blue, turns into a yellow, quarter cup turns into a half cup. Just
you're measuring that dry.
You can measure it dry, or you can just cook some and then measure it. Either way is what I'm saying. And what we're looking for in these serving size isn't to tell us what our serving size is, but just the ratios and the information about what's in it, because we just want to make sure it's fitting into the macro that we're wanting it to fit into. And so it is still a most carbohydrate product, right? So even though you have 14 grams of protein, which is awesome, you're just getting some extra protein in your day, which a lot of us don't necessarily get to that level of protein that we want to be at when we're strength training, or getting older and wanting to maintain muscle. So this is a carb. It's 32 grams to 8 grams of fiber. Okay, so way above the fiber that we were looking for to be considered a fiber-filled carb, which is great. That means now you're getting some good fiber, you're getting some good protein, and that will help all the systems. Doesn't have a huge amount of fat. I'm sure they put some in there just to have everything, be nice and stick together and have a good texture.
Why do they separate out the fibers? So it looks like it says dietary fiber, which is 8 grams, soluble fiber is 3, insoluble fiber is 5, which I'm assuming equals the 8 gram of dietary fiber that they're accounting for.
Correct. So that key thing on the back of their box, the 25% fewer net carbs.
Got it.
That is why they're doing that. Insoluble fiber means that your body does not break it down. It just literally, it goes in as fiber, goes through your entire system as the same fiber. It's not broken down in any way. Does not have to be counted in calories or in the calorie of the product. So depending on, we could do some math here. If you're like adding up what everything should be, it will likely be less because it doesn't take into that 5 grams of fiber as calories, because they don't have to, because your body shouldn't necessarily absorb any of it, right? It shouldn't be a caloric effect.
Mhm.
So this is where, like, a lot of the tortillas, they will add in insoluble fibers. Hey, leave it. Oh, grandma barking. So as you're, as you're looking at things, the insoluble fiber can be left out of things. So if you are trying to do the math to figure out, what the calories are, what's happening, that may be the difference. Insoluble fiber, like psyllium husk, that's a common one in ingredients. I don't know. Chickpeas likely just have some insoluble fiber, because I don't see anything in here added in that's going to be that. So that's the other nice thing about this ingredient list. All things that you've typically heard of. Real product, xanthan gum is just going to hold it together. Same with tapioca. And pea starch is going to bring in, that's also going to hold it together. And then chickpeas bring in the rest of the ingredients, the fiber, the protein, and probably a little bit of fat. So yeah. Any questions about either of these things?
I think the Lucky Charms label is interesting because when you look at it, it says it's 140 calories, but then when you add milk, it increases the caloric intake, and people aren't always accounting for that. They're like, oh, I can have 1 serving of Lucky Charms and it's less than 200 calories.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's like beverages don't have calories sometimes for people, right? They don't take into account, the sodas, the lemonade,
Well, if you drink Diet Coke, Deanna, it's just 0 calories.
Exactly.
But yeah, this was fantastic. I love this. Well done, Deanna.
We'll stop sharing now. Okay. So, so you're looking to, labels are going to help you figure out what macro you're in, so that if you are looking at a recipe and you're using either 2B Mindset or Fixate, you can take that recipe or look at that box and kind of figure out where you're going to fit into your plan. Now with Fixate, there's not a lot of things that she wants you to have that are pre-made. It's just part of the program. It's part of, eating whole foods, not having things processed, prepped ahead of time. And that's just, it's kind of the way the program is. Alana does allow more of those things in. Salad dressings that are purchased, right? Yogurts that you can add stuff into. I'm trying to think of like extracts. She does a lot of different things that maybe Fixate does a few of, but not quite as much.
Is Fixate different from Portion Fix, or is this just the new fancy name?
I'm sorry, I keep saying Fixate, but that's like just the recipes. Portion.
Okay, I was like, is this a new one that Autumn has rolled out that I have missed? I'm like, wow, I've been gone for a while.
No, I just keep thinking in terms of Fixate recipes.
Yes.
So yes, Portion Fix.
Okay.
Or Gut Protocol. Either one interchangeable on the fact that like whole foods are king.
Right. Yeah. Awesome.
So the goal is to, eat as real as possible. But we know it's not always possible, and we like to push the limits on what we can purchase ahead of time. So what kind of labels do we have? You want to get out your cauliflower label?
Yes. Do you want, I'm a little worried. I'm not gonna
No,
lie.
don't be.
No, it's fine. This is fine. We're great. Okay. So I just want to tell you that I found this. Well, I was looking for a whole wheat Boboli pizza crust.
Yep.
Or I was looking for like a whole wheat like non-flatbread, like, but I did not need 12 non-flatbreads. I just needed one. So I came across this, and as I'm touching it, I cut it open, and as I'm touching it, it feels like oily, like more so than it did earlier. And I was like, oh, this is not good. So anyways, this is the label. I probably might have, but it's called Rising Crust.
Okay.
And the good thing is that there's a non-GMO verified sticker on the front. And then it says veggie, not just for toppings. Cauliflower based pizza crust.
Okay.
Okay. All right. We already know where this is going. I'm just gonna throw my pizza out. So for context, I made a vegetarian barbecue pizza, and it has barbecue sauce that uses the sweetener, and maybe I should have brought that up too, but it uses a brown sugar and inorganic cane sugar. It has way more sugar in the ingredients, but I chose that one over one that only had 5 grams because the ingredient list was a lot cleaner than one that only had 5 grams, where it listed like natural flavors. And Bev, who's not with us tonight, she scared me off of the phrase natural flavors on labels. And like, I'm like terrified when I say, I'm like, oh, I can't touch this, you know? So, and then there was like another 0 sugar barbecue sauce. And I was like, I don't trust you because there's no way. So anyways, that's where we went. And then I put cheese, black beans, homemade roasted corn, red pepper, and purple onion on it. And then I baked it. But the cool thing about this crust is that it tells you in all caps, not ready to eat, cook before serving. So that's how we know it's healthy, friends, because you can't.
It must have been in the refrigerated section then?
It was not.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
It was next to the little mini Bobolis. And I was like, little Boboli, I will not be persuaded by you because you are not whole wheat. So it says the ingredients are cauliflower puree. We're off to a great start. This is
off to a great start. What they say is in it. So that's exciting.
Unbleached, unbromated, enriched wheat flour. And then in parentheses, it goes on to tell you what's in that wheat flour, which is wheat flour, malted barley flour, niacin, reduced iron, thiamine, mononitrate, riboflavin, folic acid. This is where the wheels come off, friends. Potato starch.
That's okay. Yeah, potato starch is okay.
Cultured wheat starch.
That's probably fine too. Those are both going to be things that hold everything together.
Okay, well then we have non-GMO canola oil.
Okay.
Yeast, garlic powder, onion powder, basil, and then enzymes.
Okay.
That is the only thing in this crust.
I think you're pretty good there. I mean, those are all like legit, and it's not held together with cheese, which is surprising because most of them are like, that's how they're holding them together too. So you end up with a higher calorie, and you may not have intended that way, right? Because you're still going to add cheese to the top of your pizza.
Right. And I'm not a big cheese person, but I put like a little bit of cheese on it, but it was nice that it wasn't in the crust.
Yeah.
And so just nutrition facts, it's 110 calories per serving, and a serving is 1/5 of a crust. I want to meet somebody that would eat 1/5 of this crust because I did not in the sitting that I had for lunch.
Yeah. I mean, what is this, like a 10-inch round, maybe 12-inch? I mean, that's almost like, like a slice and a half.
It's probably like a 12-inch. Yeah. Like it's the same size as like your Boboli pizza.
Okay.
And then it has 23 grams of carbs, only 1 dietary gram of fiber, 1 gram of sugar, which I did backflips when I saw there's only 1 gram of sugar in this, because I was like, hot damn, friends, that means that it's coming from the vegetables. It's not
Oh.
added in. And there's 4 grams of protein. And so I cooked it. I made this pizza and it cooked up really crispy, like a really nice thin crust. And it is delicious. Chef's kiss all around. So rustic crust, cauliflower based pizza crust.
So, okay, so let's go back. The fiber was 1 gram, and how many carbs was it?
23. So it's a net carb of 22. It does not meet Alana's standard.
Well, no, right, but you don't worry about net carbs with Alana. You just worry about the 1 to 10 ratio.
Okay, well,
Yeah. But I'm curious about that with the cauliflower puree, because that makes me wonder then, is the puree less fibrous than just taking cauliflower and pureeing it? You know what I mean? Because, like,
probably.
it seems like if you have, depending on the weight of the cauliflower in the product, you should have a little more fiber than that, but I don't know. I haven't made it from scratch, and could be why it's way more bread-like, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a really
Cauliflower.
good texture. It holds up really well. I was impressed because I'm like, this thing's gonna come out of the oven. It's either gonna taste like cardboard or the pizza's just gonna fall apart. But it was really, I was really impressed with it. It has 190 milligrams of sodium. I'm not mad about that. So yeah.
Here's something I like to think about when you think about these types of products, right? So if you were just to make some pizza dough, or like our local grocery store has dough that they make,
Mhm.
right? So it's in the refrigerator section, shouldn't have anything extra in it, should just be dough. If you do something like that, what's the nutritional value of those with even less processing?
Well, so I normally get the crust that's pre-made rolled out from Publix in the refrigerator section, and that has way more crap stuffed into it than this does.
So I'm talking about, like, what if you make the dough?
Oh, that's not gonna
No, it's super
Lily's
easy. I'm
like,
telling
no.
you. I'm
Oh,
telling
I don't
you.
know. Then it's just flour and water, right? And like an egg. I don't know how do you make
Not
this?
even an egg. Yeah, your
Okay.
flour, yeast, and water, and a little salt, and sometimes a little sugar, depending on the recipe you're using.
Okay.
But
I think I saw.
I don't know the answer. I don't know the answer. I'm just saying, nutritionally, how
Yeah.
do they compare? Because you're only at 1 gram of fiber for 20 carbs, and if you're
Right.
with just a regular pizza crust, then maybe just get a regular pizza crust and add more veggies to the top of it.
That is a
with
really
more
great
fiber
idea.
overall.
There we go. I like that. So now what I'm going to do is not make my own pizza crust, is I will embark next week to do another pizza, but I will use the pizza crust from the refrigerated section to see what the difference is.
Or do you have a favorite pizza restaurant? Because many of those will give you pizza dough too, that you can make. You can use.
Oh my
Well,
God.
you've just opened up like a whole new world. Well, hell, okay, yeah.
And they might even have a whole grain option that you
But
could.
how do you know what the nutrition is if you're getting it from?
That's the other thing. Like, you would have to ask them, kind of, you'd have to know how much. They probably put a little more oil in it, olive oil in it. So you'd have to find out about that. But here's the thing. If you like this cauliflower crust, it's really good. It's not like there's something in it that you're like, oh, you shouldn't do that, or you shouldn't have that. If you're searching to make it better, then there could be some different options, right? Like, I've made whole wheat pizza dough at home.
I'm coming to your house next time you do that. Let me know.
And, so that, you know what I mean? You just have to figure out, okay, what is working the best, like what works with what you want, what tastes good, plus your lifestyle. So, you know what I mean? Like, I just don't want there to be this thing that just because there's cauliflower puree in it, that it makes it better than just getting a regular pizza dough.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I think they're probably going to be really similar.
Probably. I would say that I chose this one over like a Boboli or another one because the ingredient list was much shorter and I knew what everything was in it, and that was more important to me than.
Yeah, I'm totally in for that all the time. Like, I think every time you can pronounce what you're putting in, always a good thing.
Yeah, so that was but yeah, I definitely recommend it, especially Lily. I know she loves her cauliflower products.
She's in.
She's in.
Now I gotta go find it at the store when I get
You
home.
can get it
If
at
I ever get
Walmart,
home, I'm
Lily.
stuck in traffic.
Oh gosh. Well, when you get home, you can get it at Walmart, actually, is where I found it.
It's funny, we don't have many Walmarts close in. We have like some neighborhood ones, but like Walmarts aren't the thing on the West Coast.
No.
They are everywhere else.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, the closest Walmart's like 40 minutes away from me.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we'll have to create a drop shipment to you guys on the West Coast for this pizza crust.
And I saw Lily had Spindrift. I actually have one in here too.
Yeah, what are you gonna say about my raspberry and lime?
Oh, this, I mean, I like should be a spokesperson for Spindrift. Like this is my jam. Because it's real. It's like, and it's got some calories. You're not like, it's got, this one has 12 calories. I have the blood orange tangerine. It has
this one has 5.
carbonated water, blood orange juice, tangerine juice, citric acid.
Oh, that sounds delicious.
12 calories. And it's got 3 carbs and 2 total sugars from the juice, not added. Nothing's added, no protein, no fat. But like, I love these. I used to get like a little bit of heartburn from LaCroix's because of their natural, whatever the flavoring was, but nothing from these. What were you gonna say?
Is it like LaCroix?
Yeah, it just tastes like rich fruit. It doesn't taste like put a dropper of, flavor in it. They're
I think it has more flavor than LaCroix personally. Like this Spindrift is 5 calories and the only thing in it is carbonated water, raspberry puree, and lime juice. That's it. 3 ingredients.
Sounds good.
They're amazing.
And it's flavorful.
Yeah. So I did this with some fruit punch Energize, just a half scoop, and let me tell you, it's life-changing. And that is how I've done happy hour several times now. No alcohol, and I got my Energize, and I'm as happy as a clam walking around with my Spindrift and my Energize, and it looks like a cocktail. It's amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I just had a new flavor in Wisconsin. I haven't seen it here yet. It's lime and mint. So it's called a Nojito. Yeah, amazing. Yeah.
That sounds good.
It was funny because my stepsister saw it and then she texts her friends because they are all Spindrift crazy people. And her friends scouted out what Target had it and they went and bought them out.
That's awesome.
All right. Sue or Sandra, any labels you want to talk about?
No, but I do want to share one thing.
Yes.
So in the new cookbook, there is a breakfast pizza that is made with chickpea flour.
Yes.
So if you guys have the new cookbook, check that out if you're looking for like a pizza. I don't particularly would put the eggs on it, but it might be an option to make for the crust.
What's on it, Sue?
Who knows? What do you mean what's on it? It's egg.
Pizza. It's just
eggs and veggies.
Yeah.
You know what I would recommend too, if you need like a base, like a wrap base. To Be Mindset has a red lentil, what'd she call it? Was it a red lentil wrap? It's literally you soak lentils in water, put some salt in there, let them soak for a while. I can't remember what the recipe says. Put them through the blender and you're just pouring it into a hot pan. And you have to make sure that bottom part's really done before you do the first flip. And I ended up having to make them smaller because I tried to make some big ones and it ended up like a total disaster. But they were super like neutral. So when it came out, I mean, it tastes like lentils. So it's a little earthy, but I would put peanut butter and jelly or peanut butter and banana and some chocolate nibs on them. And they were the most amazing little dessert wraps. And it's a protein. I'm like, sold.
Interesting.
So just, you know what I mean? So there's ways like that pizza. I'm sure it's chickpea flour, like we did with the chickpea bread that he made in Protocol the first round. So that was just chickpea and maybe a little oil and some salt and water, and you get it all together and either bake it or cook it, probably some kind of baking soda or powder, maybe an egg.
Yep, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah. And so there's lots of ways to do those kinds of things with different flours now because everybody's experimenting with gluten-free and dairy free, that you can get some of these different things going, and they're really tasty. And I ended up, so I made a bunch of little wraps like that big and just stuck them in the freezer. So then when I wanted something, I just pull it out, you know, put my PB and jelly on it, because I make my own jam, so I know exactly how much sugar's in there and all that kind of good stuff, and good to go.
Yeah, I have so many different flours. The only one I think I don't have is the chickpea I need to get.
Yeah.
I even have I found a hazelnut one I want to try. I got
Oh,
it.
that'd be good.
I haven't done anything with it yet because I got it to do, it was like with dates and things like that.
Yeah.
I think I was forgetting something and I never got around to, or no, I think what it was is, oh, this recipe sounded so good. And then when I actually looked at it again and it's like, really? All that work and it's gonna give me like 4 little pieces? I'm like, no.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'll find something else to do with it.
Yeah. You can probably, I would think it would act like an almond flour. So
Mhm.
like there's a couple different chicken recipes where you crust it in almond flour. I'm sure you could do the hazelnut. That'd be really good.
Well, I know we were thinking about doing something like that. We just haven't done it yet, so.
Yeah. 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 And I mean, there's lots of different things to kind of use now, which is awesome. And it's fun to experiment and try it, right? See what you
Mhm.
think. It's good. And because I don't necessarily enjoy lentils in their regular form. I was kind of like, they're
Mhm.
kind of mushy and they're not my favorite. And then the green ones that don't get mushy, I don't know what it was. I made them for that ultimate reset salad. Do you know what I'm
Oh,
talking about, Sue? It's like got the carrot.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I like I took a couple bites and I'm like, no, this is not going to be it for me.
Yeah, lentils are not my favorite either.
But I'm telling you, the little wraps.
They're good. I haven't tried the red lentils, they cooked down to almost nothing. So I
Exactly.
think that's
So when you
probably
soak 'em
what
and
makes it
yeah,
different.
yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
I have a great recipe for lentil tacos where you
Oh,
cook
yeah.
the lentil. Like I use a red lentil and you cook that with onion and taco seasoning and you let it simmer. And then I usually just put it over lettuce so it becomes like a taco salad and it's actually really good. You can put it in a tortilla if you want, but
Yeah.
or the recipe calls for it to be used with a sweet potato, but I'm not doing that.
Yeah. Yum. That'd be good.
Yeah, I'll drop it in the nutrition chat. It was a good
Perfect.
one.
Yeah,
And it's
that'd be
super
great.
simple, which I like simple.
Yes. And and that's the thing. Like you can make a lot of really delicious things that aren't complicated, aren't a bunch of ingredients. You know what I mean? There's a lot of good combos out there to try.
Well, that's what I loved about the meal prep on Sunday was that when I went to the grocery store to get stuff, it wasn't cumbersome. Like it was just super straightforward and it wasn't expensive to get that stuff and then come home and put it all together. And I was really excited about that. Cause sometimes you're like, oh, a shopping list. Like, when am I ever going to use like this most obscure, like bean from South Africa that's only, harvested once a year when it's like the equinox, so.
Well, I appreciate that because I do think about that when I make the list and when I use the recipes. Like you'll see sometimes we'll have, like if we're using something maybe you don't have a lot of, like a tahini, like maybe then I'll have 2 recipes or or like the next month I'll have another recipe in with it so that at least you're trying to use it up because yeah, you don't want a bunch of stuff you're never going to use again. But I like to push the edge a little bit. Like we had fennel this last time. And I don't know how many people eat fennel. So it's good to, get it in there and try it and kind of see what you think.
I was surprised that I actually liked it. I was a little nervous. I was like, oh, I don't know how this is going to go.
It's
But
funny.
I've
I
been
don't
pleasantly
enjoy
surprised.
fennel, but I liked it with the apples a lot. I thought
Yeah.
it tasted really good.
It's
And
a good
when the whole thing
combination.
was together, it was really delicious.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure.
Well,
Yeah, I
good.
don't like fennel.
Well, the next month I'll pick something else. It'll be super fun. We can figure out what else to have.
Are we doing one in September?
Oh, I'm not. Yeah, that's a good segue. I'm not doing one in September. There will be one October 1st. And then a couple things coming up. So there is a free Gut Health 101 group. So this is going to be like a introduction to things that help for gut health, probiotics, fibers, different, foods, ways to look at your gut health. And that is open to absolutely everybody. And it starts on Monday. It's 5 days long. And then you just need to check with whoever your partner is, or if you're already a partner and you need to get in, just yell, or just, I put the link in the group, in the Stronger Together group. So
I feel like I'm forever chasing you down looking for stuff. I'm like, Deanna, where's this?
So it's
What
all
happened?
there.
I missed it.
And then let's get our dates here too. So the nutrition call the next one will be the 31st of August.
Mhm.
We will then
Not
have
24th.
the September 14th. I will be out of country. And then we'll be back again September 28th. Now, if
Are these nutrition calls every other week?
yeah, so they're every other week. They're every 2 weeks now.
Okay.
Yeah. And so if there's something that comes up, that's exactly why we have the nutrition chat. But if there's something pressing people want to talk about too, partners can always get together and run a Thursday call if there's something people want to get together for. So August 31st, then September 28th. Meal prep class we covered. I feel like there was something else we were going to talk about. We got the gut health group, and then there will be another gut protocol group with a prep week starting September 18th. So that group will just start from the beginning. And if you were in any of the past gut protocol groups, if you have the program, you're always welcome in any of the groups. So I highly encourage you to jump back in, because maybe if the first or second or fifth group didn't go very well, that doesn't mean we stop trying. We just try to figure out new ways to help enter in the things we want. And, there might be something nugget from this one that really sticks with you and helps you shift a habit. So that's really what it's all about. We just kind of keep trying and keep adding things in to help us out. Nice.
Yeah, and I think the new cookbook is a game changer for that.
Yes. It was funny. So
I do, because there's so many recipes in there that look so good.
Yeah.
Do they look easy to make, Sue? Like, are they like, is this low hanging fruit, or am I gonna have to go to culinary school?
No.
No, super easy. Super easy.
In
I've
fact,
got a list of what I want to try.
Yeah, the ingredients I find are even more simple than a lot of the fixate recipes, which is great, because sometimes she'll get into some ingredients where you're kind of like, okay, what do I do with that? Or how does that work? So these definitely seem to be a little more simple. And some of my favorite recipes were also added in there, like the turkey breakfast sausage. Pretty much could live off that. The Italian sausage, I use that one all the time. So, there's a lot of good things in there. Super simple.
Okay, that's good to know, because some of the recipes in the past from Portion Fix have just been
They are complicated. Yeah.
Off-putting. Yeah, you're like, oh, this looks delicious. Wait, I don't even have that appliance.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's good to know.
These should be
better. As a matter of fact, there's one, what was I looking at? Oh, cookie dough ice cream.
Ooh.
That one looks pretty darn good.
I made the chia quinoa breakfast, whatever it's called, breakfast bowl the other morning. I totally forgot. I'll put it in the group. I totally forgot to put it in the group. It's quinoa, and you do like the chia spices with some coconut beverage. And if I didn't have coconut, so I just put some pecans in it. You put some nuts in it, and it was really good.
Well, I saw that, Sue, speaking of chia, are you eating chia pudding with your fruit in the morning?
Oh, did I say chia? I meant chai. Sorry.
Oh,
I do. So what I do is I mix up a mason jar of chia with like just chia seeds and milk, like coconut milk or almond milk. And then I will take a couple spoonfuls of that and mix it with my yogurt.
Yeah, that sounds really good. I've been watching your food posts. Now that sounds
Yeah.
creepy. Anyways, it
Oh,
looked really
Not
good.
at
And
all.
I was like, is that
Sauce
chia
is
pudding?
all you want.
And
Yep,
then,
I sh-
like Mariana, that stuff's really like simple too. Like, so
Yeah.
don't feel like you have to do it all right away. Just try like once a week. If you like try some kind of new technique, new food, right? It's literally just measuring out some chia seeds and some type of plant milk or water, however you want to do it.
And I love chia pudding. There,
Yeah.
it's so good and super easy. I just, I never thought about
Mhm.
adding it to fruit.
Yeah. And
So.
I have had it in parfaits where you add like so you'll have yogurt that has Shakeology mixed in.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
You could put some chia pudding on top, or you could mix the Shakeology with the chia pudding and put the yogurt on top. Like there's all ways to do it, right? You made like a little parfait and you can add some fruit in there and it's super
Mhm.
good.
Oh, that sounds delicious. Yeah. I'm gonna have to get in on that this weekend.
Yeah, give it a try. It's
I
quite
will for
tasty.
sure.
And there's lots
Okay.
of all the meal prep classes are on my blog. So
Okay.
like if you ever want to pass one, they all have the shopping list, recipes, everything there.
Awesome.
So you don't have to wait till October 1st. You can just do it whenever you want.
Great plug. Sandra, were you gonna say something?
So you actually mix the chia seeds or chia seeds, whatever, with water?
You can do water. I don't particularly like it just doing water, so sometimes I'll do half water and half like a milk.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And it is just a weird thing for me. I don't like how the chia seeds look if they're only in water. It's
That's
nothing
funny.
to do with how they taste. I just don't like how they look. So I always have to add some kind of milk to it so it's white.
So
They
it's like,
used to put chia seeds in the kombucha.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah, there are still some like that. So Sandra, when you can have chia seeds just like thrown into your shake and you drink right
Okay.
away,
Mhm.
they're going to be hard.
Okay.
right.
So if you put them with a liquid, they absorb that liquid and they get kind of what I call snotty. I mean, they
Yeah.
just this little gel around them. So
Mhm.
if you have a gel texture issue, this is not going to be the food for you because it's like I'll eat them and I feel like I get one up here and I can feel this like snottiness on my tooth. It's very funny. But I don't mind it. So but they have a lot of omega-3s and 6s and they they're a great addition to things.
Mhm.
They're an orange container. You could do 2 tablespoons as a serving of the dry. And so you can make these puddings and then add in some other proteins or flavors or fruit, and it just kind of makes it a little more exciting.
I mean, I have a bag of them and I was at one point putting it in my yogurt, but I'm like, what else do I do with them?
Yeah. Well, and you
Yeah.
could soak them ahead of time in the plant milk, and then they're just more pliable. Like they're not as hard, right? So they're just going to be like tapioca. I would equate it to that. They're going to be like
Okay.
a pearl or a tapioca in with
Okay.
your yogurt.
And it
Yeah.
only takes 10 minutes to create chia pudding. So like if before you get in the shower in the morning, you can throw them in with some like coconut milk, almond milk in a container and then get ready. And then as you're walking out the door, you grab it and it's ready to go, which is my
Mhm.
favorite breakfast hack.
So do you guys have like a proportion, like measuring it? Or
Let's
just,
see if there's a
So I do
what do you use to?
2 tablespoons, which is an orange container, to
Okay.
1 cup of nut milk, like 1 cup of whatever. And so oftentimes I'll do like half water, half milk, but it's still a cup of liquid. It's
Okay.
kind of liquidy, but that's okay. I like it that way.
okay,
And
so
then
a cup
I
of
just-
liquid to, like, you said 2
Yeah.
tablespoons?
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, it's an orange container, so it's 2 tablespoons. And then what I do is just mix it up in a mason jar and just scoop some of it out and put it with my yogurt in the morning.
Okay.
So I don't eat that whole jar.
So if
Seems like
you're
the-
going, if you want thicker though, that is going to be pretty runny because
Okay.
Yeah, it is pretty runny.
I would just double like, so I would do, if you're doing 2 tablespoons of chia seeds, I'd probably do 4 tablespoons of a liquid. So
Okay.
you're doubling it, which would be
Double.
like that'd be a quarter cup of liquid.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty runny for me, but that's how I like it. So
Okay.
Yeah. So you
Yeah.
just have to figure out how stiff you want it. I guess you could say how thick you want it and what you're going to do with it. Because if, maybe you want it, if you're going to, like, you could add a Shakeology packet into it the runny, the runny version, and then you're off.
Okay.
It'll be a really nice pudding. Like there's this, let's see here. This one does 1 tablespoon of chia seeds, a 1/2 cup of almond milk, but it also adds in Shakeology to that mix.
Okay.
So Shakeology itself will thicken things up quite a bit. So like we actually made this on the meal prep class a couple months ago.
Oh,
That's right,
okay.
we did.
Pudding.
Mhm.
Yeah. But it's just fun. It's a little different way to do it. Makes it fun.
Mhm.
And I have berries and stuff, so.
Perfect.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think it's
Yeah.
great with berries.
I don't know if you can eat too much chia. I'm not sure.
I mean, it's a superfood, so I don't know.
Well,
Well, it helps
but-
with regularity.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's where she's going. And I think that's where she's going with this. So
That's where I'm going.
but it is fibrous and it should, like, if you're on each end of the spectrum, hopefully its
Yes.
ingredients help you come to a more regular place versus causing you to go, one way.
One way or the other. So
Yeah.
I do caution you. You
Alright.
might see some changes.
Yeah.
For the good, I hope.
All right,
Yeah.
ladies. Well, we're already time's up. So we'll see each other in 2 weeks. If there's anything you want to talk about, I'm happy to add it into the nutrition call. And as always, you're welcome to bring your labels every week. All right. And I don't know what we have tomorrow. Oh, it's like Hawaiian Day or something, isn't it? Oh, it's kind of
I
sad.
don't know.
It's Hawaiian Day.
It's going to be a
Is it
bunch of crying faces.
Yeah.
Support Hawaii.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right. Well, bring your palm
Hmm.
trees and
One thing I definitely don't have.
Me neither.
Closest
well,
thing-
you can just add them into your
palm
picture. You
trees either.
just add in the gifts to your picture.
The
It's all good.
closest thing I have is an outfit my brother bought me when he was in Hawaii. Oh my God, now it's been how many years? 5 years. That I'm still trying to get into. It's a workout outfit. It's just, when they make things, you have to actually, when you're looking at more form-fitted stuff, you have to pick it out yourself. You
Yes.
know,
Yeah.
you have to see it,
Yeah.
but I'm going
hard.
to get into it.
All right.
We all have that
Let the
one
record-
outfit that we hold on to.
We do.
So I was gonna say I have a pair of jeans that I wore for my 40th birthday that I want to fit back into one of these days. So hey.
Well, I had a pair of pants that I got like 10 years ago that I forgot I even still had, and I fit into them now. So
Hey, there you go.
There you
well, I
go.
will get into that other outfit. I
All
just
right.
wanna
I'll cut
cover
our
my
recording
stomach.
here and then we'll get our picture.